The sun sets upon the kingdom of myth, and a Kadra moves across the desert. Truth about one of them has been revealed. An unlikely alliance has formed between two. One is doomed to tell this tale, and another is foretold to end it. A coffin drags behind them, upon which the future of myth hinges. 3 dooms have been faced, and only one remains. A final drumbeat. This is the end. Doom. Your Kadra moves across the desert, into the territories of the cannibal saint. The wind is soft and bitter. The desert sands no longer orange as once they were, but a strange, dull grey. Every now and then, you swear you see the unearthed skulls and bones that exist beneath these lands. The crack of your horse's hoofs are heavy against them. Seeker Keswick. You remember your last night at the border fort, as you held audience with the seers of Secourt. As rolling stones upon the ground, they looked up towards you, as blind as Branwen.
The lands of the cannibal saint are wild and barren. Even for one such as your companion,
and they point towards the gospel.
It is impossible to traverse them safely. It is said that the changeable firmament of the night sky, there rests a nameless star, unmoving since the beginning of your tale. It is said that a home is above the resting place of the sanguine saint. The cathedral which you seek, and that she sings a song, one that only the birds may heed. Go careful, seeker, for you shall not return.
Ah. I suspected not. Will do.
The sound of hoofs beneath you sound out as you ride. All 5 of you riding through the desert. A coffin, wrapped in chains, surrounded by wards, is dragged behind you all. And you see ahead of you, Seeker Keswick, a star within the firmament. You remember your first doom, the tongue that was given you. What are you doing?
I know the way. Just straight on. And as we begin to pick up, Keswick will approach the Soul Keeper and just sort of palm the amulet back to her. You drop this. Do you need it?
I think you, like, as you're giving it back to her, she's not looking at you. There has been silence, and you briefly remember the horror in her eyes as she went to reach for it in the fort, realized it wasn't there, and saw her own hand, realized her own appearance, and then looked up at you. And I think she hasn't looked at you since that moment.
Seeker Caswick puts a finger and thumb to her chin, tilts her face up. I see you. It's all right.
What do you see? Tell me what you see, please.
I see my lady. I see everything, just as I did before.
It was lies. Keswick, I never believed a word of it because it was all lies.
Me?
It was built on lies.
It's just a story. Like everything else I do. The way you choose to present yourself, it's all part of the tale. It doesn't change what the story means. It's an illusion is not a lie.
You know, all those people back there, all those old folks, all those children, you know, I'd have let every single one of them die to keep you safe. Do you know that?
I do. And that's why we gotta stick together.
You are the only thing. You are the only thing that's real. You're the only thing that matters in all this, so what do you want? What is your command?
My command, my wish is just to see this through, to see you reach everything that I know that you're capable of. I am here to bear witness.
I can't save myth. No one can.
That ain't true.
That's what you want me to try?
You're already doing it. Don't you understand? Haven't you been listening to me? You are a hero. And I mean that more than just someone who wins fights and saves lives. That's all fine and whatever, but you are going to be a legend. That saves myth. That keeps myth alive. It doesn't even matter if we win or not. You are going to try, and you are going to live forever. Because that's what stories do. And that is the only thing I have to give this stupid world. And I'm going to do it. And you are the only one that matters.
I'm going to take the medallion and I'm going to summon, with my hand grasping it, the barest glimmer of an illusion. And it is the scene from the Violet Fields. It is the dead rising up and turning against the armies of myth. And the Soulkeeper there in all her glory. And I'm just going to say, I need to know that you know what I am. And then I'll be the hero of whatever story you need.
Seeker Caswick cups the back of your neck. I've always known. I know who you are. I know what you are. I'm here on purpose, believe it or not. I'm with you.
Right. All right. I guess I'll go finish your story then.
And as you ride, and as your story continues, Oathbreaker, you hear the pull of the coffin behind you, the scraping of the earth and the dust and the sand in your wake. And as you turn around to look at it, you realize that the winds have stopped. A trail in the sand has been left behind you, unmarked, unmarred, unbroken. It is as though you can trace your journey from the edge of the desert all the way to where you ride now, as this coffin and the weight that lies within it follows.
This is a journey that has taken longer, much longer than since the forming of the cadre. I turn back and urge the horse on, knowing that the destination is upon us.
And as your horse speeds somewhat, it passes the last two members of the cadre, as Gospel and Grave Whisperer. What are the two of you doing?
I think at this point, especially if I've been left in the hands of Branwyn, I am unarmed and most likely shackled at the moment as I ride my horse.
Branwyn will ride just very slightly behind, just so the badger can follow the horse, as she can't guide it. They're all very loud. Do you know that?
Loud? You
The
mean
three of them.
Keswick?
No. Not them. The ones around you. The ones who are gone.
I don't know what you could possibly mean.
You know what I am. You know what I do. I talk to the dead, Gospel. And yours have a lot to say.
What are they saying? Branwyn.
The living never like the answer.
Branwyn, make a challenge roll for me.
Just a challenge roll with any particular thing. I'm so scared.
I want to know what it is you are going to hear.
Okay, yeah. So just the one dice then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a 4.
4. So you succeed, but with a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
Gospel. What are the last words you remember hearing from your wife and child?
My child, Imogen, was too sick to say anything. She only gave shallow, painful wheezings as she squeezed my hand, asking me to stay. Miss Lyra, my wife, kissed me on the cheek and told me to ride safe, that they'll be here when I get back.
Do you know what took their lives?
Some sort of disease, one that none of the doctors could figure out how to cure. I couldn't afford mystics to do that. I'd gone out to find someone who had promised a cure, but I never made it back in time.
Who did you turn to in the end?
As I held the long, lifeless bodies of my daughter and wife, I turned to the bleeding wraith.
And what did the bleeding wraith show itself to be in the end?
The only way I can make the people responsible pay.
And Branwen, as you hear these wheezing gasps of a child and a final farewell of a wife, so too do you feel a presence hanging upon the shoulders of the gospel. A god, a bleeding wraith, and he is dead. Not for long. The desert stretches before you and behind you, as do the days, weeks, months of travel through the still air of Visage. These endless deserts, grey and colourless. The sun rises, the sun sets. Occasionally the moon does likewise. And there are some days it seems as though neither rises and you are plunged into darkness as you ride. Neither sun nor moon to light your way. Yet seek Keswick. Through the skies above, you see columns of songbirds every so often, flying, moving across the air. Waves of wings and beaks, and more than this, song. They sing. They sing of your journey thus far. Stopping short before the end. For every good songbird knows you cannot spoil what has not happened yet. They fly off into the sky as you all ride. And I will simply ask each of you to roll a d6 for me.
Getting my 1 out of the way.
Oh,
5.
no.
Everything's coming up, Brentwin.
Coming in with a 2.
Okay.
Roll a 5.
A 3.
Twinsies.
A lovely distribution.
As you ride across this quiet, silent desert, it is as though you come to the edge of the world itself, so barren, so quiet, so silent is it. And through this silence, you hear something, Branwen. Whispers. A choir. Ahead of you, a harmony of whispers. As the sun begins to rise in the distance, and the shadows of this desert stretch long across its lands, you see ahead of you a structure, an almighty spired cathedral. It is as though the entire building rests upon a 45-degree angle, half sunken into the sand, weathered by time and the desert winds. Great towers stretch into the sky as though seeking salvation from the heavens. You see gargoyles rent asunder, silently screaming out into the abyss from its walls, and broken stained glass windows providing the only colour in this land, each displaying the remnants of a red-cloaked figure. It stands, sinking into the desert itself, pointing towards the north. This you see, Gospel, and from within, intoning songs that scrape around your very skull, Branwen, you hear.
Can I use my, I'm just getting the name of it, Gaze of the Prophets, which is you receive brief glimpses of the future as corpses mutter the secrets they have seen beyond death. Once per doom refresh, you may describe visions that will come to pass. And as a group, we decide what we see, including the GM. Anything is possible, but the GM might assign brutal costs to outlandish futures.
Okay. I love this. So, you describe the future, or I describe it?
We work together to describe
Alright.
the future according to this, but I would be happy with you sort of starting it, and then maybe we can, and like this is everyone, so, and we can chime in with anything that we might want.
Let us go around the table. I will start, and then Emily, and then Keswick, then Morian, then the Oathbreaker, then the Gospel, and then myself. You will see a field of corpses.
Is that's what your that's your line? Okay. Oh. If anyone is really uncomfortable with this, I will happily retcon it. But I think we're all in that field.
Oh!
I can change it if you want.
That's juicy.
That's... Doesn't have to be this field.
Flock of birds flying away from Seeker Keswick into the sky.
Maria.
I think a vision of the cannibal saint laughing.
Oathbreaker.
The coffin lies open, as if wrenched free.
Gospel.
Of the pile of our corpses, a single hand bursts out of the mound, silhouetted and too dark to see any clear features.
I love that.
And finally, Branwen, in the darkness of your vision, you see that what was once one, that became two, becomes one once more.
But I don't know what that is. Probably not good.
And the vision ends.
Everyone, stop.
Are you tired?
I hear.
No, not tired. This is the dead. They're talking to me. They're telling me. This is the end. So, say what you gotta say, because I'm not sure any of us get another chance.
Did you go into this thinking it wasn't the end before now?
You haven't seen it, Gospel. I don't see much anymore. But believe me, the end's coming. For some more than others.
Oh, you don't understand. I'm aware I don't have your gifts, Branwen, but I've accepted the doom the moment it was prophesied. I think it's all of you who are still in denial.
Not in denial. I know it's all ending. It's making sure it ends in a way that can be better for whatever's left.
And that's the denial.
I know what's coming. I don't know if y'all been listening to me or not, but I know I seem cheery. Maybe that's been mistaken for naivete, but I know what's coming. If this is it, if this is the end, I know everybody's been a little tight-lipped around me, and I get it. But maybe there's something you want to be heard by the next life, by whatever comes next. What do you want to be remembered for? Just one thing. Give me something.
I'm just trying to put everything that went wrong right.
Hell yeah. I'll take that.
I wish, I guess, to be known as a person who lived and died as one would be. And indeed, one who enjoyed the company of others. A normal individual.
And so it shall be. There we go, Oathbreaker, normal guy.
Cool.
Gospel?
They look at you. I don't want to be remembered. If I've done my job, there'll be no one to remember.
Struck from the record, I got it.
I want to be remembered. I want to be so remembered, but I know it won't really be me they're remembering. It'll be the Tail Weaver, and that's the story you write, and that's up to you, and that's how it should be.
Your wish is granted, you know that.
No.
All right, there we go. That's a win. Something. Finally. You know what? Before we all walk into sudden death, I ought to write a few things down. Thank you.
So we are stopping here. Maybe it's time for a short snack break.
Indeed, Snack Captain, once you have finished with your letters, maybe handing round the beans.
I take them. I don't need them to write what I'm writing.
First pick, and I take the beans and start chomping on them.
Bean break.
Bean break.
Oh, yeah.
It's remarkable how the sound of this food and this eating cuts through the landscape that stands around you. Not a sound exists save for all of you, sat within the center of this open expanse. A cathedral on the horizon, and a coffin beside you all.
What's in it? Someone here must know.
Something powerful, something important, something everyone wants.
It's something dead.
It's a coffin.
Exactly. It's been talking.
What does it say?
Usual shit.
Enlighten us. Usual shit is something I'm not acquainted with. Some sort of terminology you whisperers use.
Ed, can you remind me what was said to me through the coffin? Because it was a while ago.
Yeah.
It was not only a word, but it was a name.
I remember the name.
Avery.
Just these dead things, they a lot of them just want to be remembered. Just want everything to be known about them. So I just kept saying its name. Avery.
Curious. Why do dead things say their names? Is it a catchphrase of some sort? Or to just literally to be remembered?
True names have a lot of power here.
Indeed, they do.
Maybe they're hoping it can bring them back.
Well, let's not hope for that in this case, shall we?
Are you familiar?
Me?
Well, don't want to see this Avery.
I I know not of an aviary.
Fine.
Bean?
You'll have to put it in my hand.
1 or 2?
She snatches one.
Okay. Okay.
The sun continues to rise over you all, an uncharacteristic warmth flooding this cadre, such the like you have not seen in some time. But Seeker Keswick, as the others sit and eat and talk, what are you writing?
I'm writing their wishes into what I've already read. The story of this journey. The story of this journey I've been chronicling. I've told mostly the truth, embellished where it needs to be embellished, and making everything make sense in a way that real life doesn't. Stringing the narrative together, building us to a finale. And now I'm just going back and making sure that everybody is seen the way they want to be seen, remembered or not the way that they want to be remembered, because this is all I am. I am these pages, these words, and a memory of the end. I'm just making it all right.
Can you make a challenge roll for me, please?
Sure can. Can I use affectionate for this?
Absolutely.
4.
You succeed, but with a consequence, and you
Okay.
gain a showdown token.
Okay.
As you finish your book, and as you close it shut, and place it to one side in your satchel, you do not note that the final page slips clear of its binding and drifts down onto the sand. And one of the horses steps forward, shuffling, burying it deep beneath the earth. As your beans, regrettably, are finished.
That's the real doom, everyone.
It was foretold. Many beans became
The beans will be gone.
horns.
So, Cadra, the cathedral awaits.
I will, as told by the sacred order, rub my hands, slap my knees, and go, well, 'tis time. Together as friends, or acquaintances, if not friends.
Lead the way, Oathbreaker.
Of course, one must always lead. Come on, and I will get upon the horse and do a quiet hey-ya. I feel it might be the last time I could get to do that. So
The horse rears up and heads off, the coffin dragging behind it. As the indomitable structure of the cathedral begins to loom above you, casting its shadows across the sand. And as the sun has been rising all this time, Even as you approach the cathedral, it disappears beneath its silhouette, a halo of light across its dark, weather-beaten surface. You see steps leading up towards a jauntily angled door, and you see darkness within.
You might have to help Branwen get up through a weird angled door, otherwise she's going to hit her head and it's going to be well embarrassing, guys.
I will guide Branwen, I think, and as I am almost uncomfortably close to Branwen's ear, I say, I've never hidden where my allegiances lie. I've been honest, that it's not with the king. That it's not even with the cannibal saint. You can't trust me in your right not to, but you can rely on me. Can you say the same about the Soul Keeper?
I don't like you, Gospel. But you've always been what you've seemed. And the Soul Keeper, that's definitely not her way. So she'll fall before you do.
It's hard to believe with the shackles around my wrist.
And very quickly, she will undo them. Ride safe, Gospel.
Oh, the Gospel's jaw clenches.
And as it does so, you pass across the threshold of this cathedral, through its gates, and you are met with its interior. Huge arches stretching up to a broken ceiling. It looks like an upside-down stone boat. You see cracks of sunlight peering through, and ahead of you, wooden pews drowned in sand. A sloping stone floor disappearing beneath the waves of the desert, and up ahead, underneath a large broken stained glass window, you see a stone altar. And all around, chipped red paint displays the same image again and again and again of a deity. A sanguine saint. Red hood, red cloak. Serene and watchful. How long have you followed this godsman?
All my life. We were born into it. Every family that follows their children taught the teachings. The finest are sieved through, filtered through, and are trained from a young age until only the best of the best, the cream of said crop. But of course, there can only be one champion. And it is not unheard of that potentials come from 7 brothers, 7 daughters, the 7th of the 7th. But when you face your own blood in battle, when you face your face, when you follow gods, you always give up a piece of yourself, but I think that day, Oathbreaker gave up much more. That was intended.
Because it was never meant to be you.
It was never meant to be me.
Once again, the sound of the coffin behind you scrapes upon the floor, heavy against the stone. And Keswick and Soulkeeper, as you enter this space, you hear a sound before you feel it. A dripping as across your foreheads, your shoulders, and your mounts, you see small pinpricks of red.
I look up.
From the broken archways above, you see bodies, fields of them, strung up by the neck, their stomachs torn apart, and their entrails dangling down like inverse puppet strings. And in amongst these fields, you see familiar faces. Soulkeeper, you see those who fought and died in the Battle of the Violet Fields. Seeker Keswick, you see those whom you have sung to their death, and those whom you have sung into this life. And as you see your fellows staring upwards, Gospel, you see two others. A woman and a child, silhouetted against the warm sky above. Oathbreaker, as you look up, you see a family. 6 of 7. The 7th is missing. And Branwyn, though you see nothing, you feel a warm embrace, familiar and loving. And you know that in this place, you are not alone. As above you, unseen and unmarked, Rena hangs from the ceiling. And as you enter and as blood continues to drip down, Seeker Keswick, you hear over the soft hum of the wind that has begun to trace its way through these ruins, a twang, strings, music, as in the corner of the cathedral, sat upon a broken pillar. As was his promise, you see a familiar figure. Gone are his songbirds, gone is his tongue. Astride Shanks Brandon crouches within this husk of worship, strumming a soft tune upon his instrument. Here to mark the end.
Well, there you are.
It continues to play.
Not looking so hot. Keep on. I don't know, gang. You think we're in the right place?
Well, they've updated the decor. But I believe here lies our final rest. Come.
Can I reach up with names of blood and illusion and understand what this is and how it has come to be here?
Make a challenge roll for me.
Can I use both of those words as separate additions?
Absolutely. Yes.
I'll stick with that. 5.
5. You succeed, but at a cost, and you gain another showdown token. Reaching up, you see that this is no illusion. The bodies that hang there are all too real. somehow preserved, somehow brought to this place. And as the blood drips down and you feel it trickling down your face, it almost seems to reach upwards into the blood of these corpses, this field of red, like poppies. There is something broken in this place. It was broken a long time ago, and it shall be broken thousands of years from now. For a decision was made. A life was taken that reverberated out throughout the cosmos, forward and back, breaking something in this holy place. And I will say that with a consequence, you look towards the coffin, and you see that the wards have gone dead. They hold no power in a place such as this, but more than this, hanging off the back of the gospel, long coagulated limbs holding around the chest. You see a skull-like face, and you see bloodied, mottled skin as a crouched creature just holds him close and crouches upon the back of his mount as it disappears behind the gospel and is gone. As from above you, you hear a child's voice.
Thou killed thy sister for nothing.
And the voice becomes deeper as one of the other bodies in this field echoes down.
Thou hoped that thou might take her place and be the sanguine spirit's chosen. Isn't that right, Avery?
And the voice is gone.
One should not trust in the wind. It blows through, making chimes of these corpses.
As you say this, from the rafters, a bird just falls down on the stone, dead. And then, as you see raining from the sky above, songbirds falling down to the ground, exploding down on the stone floor beneath you. As Keswick, what are you doing?
The dead don't lie. They don't have any reason to. And Keswick is going to shield from these falling birds and arm themselves.
Okay. Make a challenge roll for me.
Got my dagger. 4.
You succeed, but with a consequence as you gain another showdown token. As it falls, and as these birds begin to fall about you, you see Stridshanks Brandon smile as you feel his tongue shrivel up in your satchel, as your voice and your magic are useless in this place. And you see one of the wings of the birds just begin to twitch, as you can see them beginning to slowly roll towards one another, as they begin to just mass in the middle, and you can see their rib cages punching into one another, and you can see the flesh slowly beginning to mold as a large distended creature begins to stand. Oh, Avery! With a bullet from thy gun thou severed me from my charge, my intended host, and thou, Oathbreaker. And suddenly the birds just fall to the ground, and above, Gospel, you see your wife looking down. And thou, Oathbreaker, as thou took the purity of thy sister's faith from this world, thou corrupted me, and one became two. And you see the cord sever, and your wife falls from the ceiling down to the ground of the cathedral. Stridshanks Brandon continues to play.
I am at my wife's side. Immediately, whatever's left of her after the impact, I'm at her side, but quiet, silent.
Directly above you, you hear another voice. Familiar. With no tether to thy world, I rotted from the inside. Atrophied outwards into your future, into your present and your past. And the voice moves to Stridshanks Brandon, opening a tongueless mouth.
Time means little to one that is holy.
And you see coagulating blood beginning to form a tongue as he speaks.
The churches and the cathedrals built in my name, the name of the sanguine spirit, saw their first stones laid even as the corruption of my existence rippled back through the ages.
And then Stridshanks 2 falls down as another voice above. The creature that once had borne the name Sanguine Spirit had another name, the Bleeding Wraith, and so it had always been. As Oathbreaker, you start to feel the coffin behind you. As another voice from above, as Branwen, you hear Rena's voice. And my followers worshipped blissful and unaware, praying to an empty crimson vestment, praying to a sanguine saint that would never answer, corrupted by the selfish act of a sister murdering another. What do you have to say for yourself?
If you're quite done, I know I was never meant to be chosen. I was meant to die on that day, and I was willing to embrace it. But she couldn't shoot me. She couldn't do it. I saw tears in her eyes. We had grown up together. She was always the better one. I was her shadow. I knew that my time had come. When she couldn't do it, I panicked. My hand slipped and I shot her. I panicked. And so I thought I would fix it I would take her name. I would take her place. We are twins. No one would know. No one ever knew. I would become Ambrose. And she would be me. And I have tried so hard, but I never heard you. I have tried so hard, I have pleaded. I never heard you. Because I was never your chosen. I have tried so hard to die. And even then, it can only end in the draw, because I knew that up until this point, the end was coming, and only one person could do it. So if you don't mind, I think there's been enough words, don't you? But I am not sorry. Because I did what only a child could do in a moment when faced with their own death.
As you say this, Gospel, you feel that coagulated hand around your chest once more.
She corrupted me, made me what I am.
And you see the hand begin to move around as almost spider-like. You are faced with the bleeding wraith that crawls around you on the other side of your wife.
Kill them all. Bury the coffin. I will give you back your wife and child as easily as I took them from you.
Without a word, I stand and I turn to the rest of the cadre. Like I said, if I do my job right, there'll be no one left to remember. I'm gonna go after the Oathbreaker first.
I am going to say, I'm going to ask each of you to make a showdown roll for me. Now, the threat of this was a 30. Now, I have been tallying up the showdown tokens that you have accrued across this entire series. You have accrued 19, which means that you have brought this down to, let me just do the math on this, and no, sorry, not 19, sorry, I've not been counting the ones you've achieved this episode. You have achieved more, so you have achieved this down, you've brought 30 down to a 9.
Okay.
So each of you will need to roll a 9, and seeing as you have been singled out first, Oathbreaker,
Oh.
as the Gospel raises his shotgun towards you,
Mm-hmm.
can you make a showdown check for me?
I guess. What would I wager? I mean, as boring as it sounds, and to sound almost like a copycat from the previous session, I think it would be my life on this to wager.
So you will be adding 5 to whatever you roll. And I would say that as you do this, you feel a presence behind you and a coagulated hand around your chest.
You made me a husk, but I was not powerless. Strike him where he stands, and I will give you your sister back.
That's a 3 on the die.
So, adding 5 to that, that is an 8. Because you have failed, you all gain another showdown token, bringing the threat down to 8.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
But Oathbreaker, would you like to describe what it looks like as the gospel fires upon you?
She's taken back to that exact moment where she saw Ambrose's hand falter. And she realizes that even now, they're so alike. And she pauses and just allows it to happen. She was never that quick off the draw, and she knew this was going to happen. It was foretold to her by the gospel themselves. And so she doesn't even turn around. Shot in the back.
You fall forward towards the coffin that lies upon the ground. And as you collide atop its lid, it is rent asunder, splinters flying everywhere as you are met. Not with a skull, not with bones, not with flesh, but with your own face. Cold, blue lips, eyes closed and sleeping. You killed the sanguine saints chosen that day, and it has weighed with you, dragged behind you in the days that followed. You're in the arms of your sister now, as you lie within this coffin. Oathbreaker, what is your final thought?
There is none. I think it's just a moment of a feeling of relief and release. That burden dragged behind her for so many years. It's pressing her down, the guilt, the sadness, the grief which she could never show because she wasn't. She was chosen, she's the champion. And the lying is just one pure moment of bliss.
And everything goes cold. As gospel, seeing the Oathbreaker lying on top of the cold corpse of another, 3 yet remain. What are you doing?
I will add, the minute Gospel looks away, Branwyn will drop back and just feel for the walls and will just move around behind pillars and will disappear.
As you do, even in the darkness, you feel hands upon you, and for a moment, instinctively you flinch as you just hear,
Oh, no, 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 you still have a chance. I knew I could return. I could make two become one once more. I pulled the threads. The loss of a child, the loss of a wife, the loss of a loved one. I made these things happen, and I can unmake them.
I think she doesn't say anything out loud, but in her head, she just very strongly thinks, what on earth made you think I was running away?
Good girl.
As it just disappears into the darkness. As gospel, Branwen disappears into the shadow, leaving only the Soul Keeper and Keswick.
I would like to have my gun on Gospel by the time he turns around, but I am delaying or not going for it, but immediately because I am trying to put myself between him and Seeker Keswick. So
Gospel's gaze had been on Seeker Keswick until you stepped forward, and they look onto you. And with one hand pressed against the trigger of their shotgun, they'll raise the other, as you, being so well versed in the arcane and the magics, know that there is a word of power ready on his lips as he will go after Soulkeeper, or as he knows her as the Soul Breaker.
and I will try to break his soul as he does so.
Okay. Make a showdown check for me. This has been failed once, and as a result, you have gained a showdown token, so it is 8 that you need to meet or exceed. What are you doing?
Am I rolling?
You are.
Yeah.
What cost are you willing to add?
I don't care about anything else other than Keswick. But Keswick is the cost for this, because if I don't succeed, he will shoot them.
So I need you to know, if you fail this, Keswick will be lost.
It's the only way it can go.
Add 5 to whatever you roll. You are looking for an 8. The lowest you can roll is a 3.
It's a 2.
It's all right.
Keswick, what happens?
From the moment that the gospel turned on all of us, Seeker Keswick got to work doing the only thing that they could do. They started telling the stories right to the corpses themselves. Stories the way that they needed to hear them. Stories that probably twisted up inside them, even in death. Their stories. The way that Seeker Keswick heard them. Stories of lovers and children and siblings. Dead. Gone. But so remembered that their loss, their absence reverberated into whole changes, power, regret and grief and mission that led us all here. Mourned is what these people have been. Deservedly so. And Seeker Keswick whispered these stories to each of them, trying not to look, as they saw and felt the people around them losing and dropping. But when it turned on them, they knew they wouldn't have a chance to tell this final story, so instead they looked at her. Soul Keeper. It's yours now. And the spoons on their waist sort of clamor together in the wind as it passes. The pages from their book fall to the ground. Seeker Keswick tries to step towards you, kiss you goodbye the way that they should have. But in an instant, they're gone. Just birds. A flock of them that fly away.
A single string is plucked in the corner of the cathedral. The stride shanks Brandon, setting aside his instrument, bows, and steps back into the shadows. A Seeker Keswick is gone. And it is only the Gospel and the Soulbreaker, servants of the Cannibal Saint. The threat has not been beaten, and so you gain another showdown token. As Gospel, what are you doing?
The Soulbreaker still stands before me. And while I was within the forces of the Cannibal Saint, like I've always said, everyone here, every one of the knights on either side to the Cannibal Saint himself, that I'm not loyal to anyone but me. But anyone but my family, who I've been promised. I'll focus on the Soulbreaker next.
The Soulbreaker has already rolled. So Gospel, the threat is yours. Can you make a showdown roll against the Soulbreaker? What is the cost?
I think it's always going to be my life. I'm going to sacrifice everything for my family. It's what I told the Oathbreaker. What I told anyone who's bothered to ask. And it's what everyone's learned who's bothered to learn.
Add 5 to your roll. You are looking for a 7.
I rolled a 4.
Soulbreaker. What happens?
As the shot rang out the first time, the Soulbreaker turned, and for her, everything went into slow motion as she saw her failure before her as Seeker Keswick crumpled. Asked for something that Maurienne could not deliver, for she had already failed them. And I think in that moment she stopped. And I think, as with the Oathbreaker, I think it was already over. As the gospel shoots her in the back. She falls silently, in her true form.
You think back towards the start of this journey. Atop a tower, staring at the back of someone rather more gaudily dressed than you, watching a column of birds fly up into the sky. As you fall to the dusty ground, and you find yourself rolling over onto your back, you look up and you see a crack in the ceiling, sunlight streaming through. As songbirds fly high into the sky. As does your love. As everything goes dark. And as the life leaves your eyes, the pendant around your neck, round and full of teeth, shatters and breaks. As the cannibal saint's laugh reverberates around, and everything is silent. As the gospel stands there alone. And from behind one of the pews, that same long-limbed, spider-like, coagulated creature comes out.
Ah, I whispered into the ears of those who would listen, and I found followers like you who would bring the coffin here. I whispered in the court of the king. I whispered to their seers, and the threads of fate and hearts, I plucked them with plague and war and heartbreak. All to bring you here, my servant, to unpull a trigger that ended the life in that coffin.
And he walks over, and with a large, long-fingered hand just pushes the Oathbreaker off the top.
Bury the coffin, and I shall weave the threads once more. I shall be your sanguine saint.
I look over at the body of my wife and up the body of my daughter hanging from the ceiling. And I walk over to the coffin and begin dragging it to the altar.
Yes. Good. Good.
As this long-limbed monstrosity just walks behind you, its long hands dragging upon the floor. As shadows loom all about.
As this happens, I think you hear Branwen's voice. I asked for you to be brought here, Gospel. They wouldn't let me do it earlier. Not until we were closer to the end. I don't think you even know. Her name was Rena. And she asked you not to do it. She'd want me to forgive you. To do the honourable thing and move on. But she's not here. I was going to kill you. Right now. But then I heard their voices. She just wanted to hold your hand. She wanted to stay. And your wife just wanted to be reunited with you.
The
This
night.
isn't...
Nights like the arena. People like the king. The nobles who run the towns and cities. Say what she wants about this dead god who's given me the power. But he only plucked the strings that were there already. It wasn't for the corruption of you knights, of you noblemen. I'd be with my wife and daughter right now.
Well, that's where you're wrong. I've never been a nobleman, and I will throw a knife.
Make a showdown check. What is the cost?
Where it hits. Because I'm aiming for something.
Okay. Make a roll and add a 5 to whatever you roll.
Am I allowed to use my reputations? No. It's just
Nope,
a straight
it's
roll.
Just a straight roll.
Which dice has
roll.
fucked me the most? Let's see. This one. Let's see if it can redeem itself, shall we? Let's go with that premise. I'm adding a
So,
5.
The lowest you can roll is a 1.
That's a 6.
What are you aiming for?
Oh, I'm aiming for the bleeding wraith.
It flies past the gospel, past the coffin in the ground. As you just see it land in the center of this creature. And you see arriving, not from him, but from the bodies above, as they spasm and ripple, and one by one, as an entire tidal wave of corpses begins to fall from the ceiling down to the ground of the cathedral, as you see the bleeding wraith slowly collapsing down to the ground as this dead god on its last thread begins to collapse down to the ground. It is a cacophony of bodies and blood and bone and sinew and muscle, until all is silent. And there is only the gospel and Branwen.
No. It was going to bring them back. It was going to bring them back.
Nothing can bring back the dead. Gospel.
You took away my only chance. See my family again.
I can make that happen too. And she pulls another dagger from her side and holds it in her hand.
I raise my shotgun and then pull out the dagger from my boot. The obsidian dagger that I push through the throat of the arena.
I think on the dagger you see she's tied the bolo tie around it.
I'm going to ask both of you to roll a d6 for me, but I will not want the result, so do not say a word. Branwen charges forward, as the gospel does likewise. And all is silent, as outside the cathedral, the silent desert spreads all around. Hoofprints, footprints, the dragging of a coffin across the sands. A lone bean sits dried up upon the desert floor. And next to this, fluttering in the wind, a page flies free. The final page of a story lost to the deserts. As it drifts upwards towards the songbirds of myth that fly across the desert, singing a song to which none shall ever know the ending. No one knows who survived within the cathedral of the Sanguine Saint. Some say it was the gospel. Some say it was the grave whisperer. But only the tellers shall know this ending. It is not for your ears. It is not for your eyes. Myths change in their telling, changing from one iteration to the next. Tell your own and see how it changes, and what hand shall break from beneath the mountain of the dead. The kingdom of myth shall fall. That is sure. It has been delayed by weeks, days at the most. The end is coming. It is inevitable. And that is where we will end our story.
Breathe.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa. Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Awful.
Awful, truly awful. Thank you.
Oh my
Thank you so
God.
much for tormenting us.
Mhm.
Bless you.
Should we do a lore drop? Once again, we need a little bit of cheer.
Yep.
So to wrap us up,
Yep.
we have Fiona.
Hiya.
Little sprinkling,
Yeah.
little lore drop for us all today.
Hiya. Wow.
Lovely, lovely night.
Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna talk about Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah!
Yay! Ed's
Oh,
left.
Ed's left though. So I'll wait for him to come back.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail. You can't
Oh,
bring
wait,
that up
there we
around
go.
him.
Oh yeah, clearly there he is. There he is.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously I was thinking like, okay, we've done a lot about cowboys. Oh, Arthurian knights, and then I was like, what's the one thing I think of in an instant? And that's of course Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year of time of recording, which is very exciting. An unknown fact you might know, and I will say, obviously, you know, it is pretty good. It's one of the top-rated films of all time, comedy films. Still, as with all films, still not great. So, you know, bear that in mind if you're going to go rewatch it after this. One thing I really liked about it, so obviously it is written by the Monty Python team, this sketch writers back in the 70s, and they got very little funding from the BBC. The BBC was like, don't be ridiculous, no one's going to see this. So actually, the fun thing is, a lot of the funding they got for the film was from rock bands. So like Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin funded the film, because at the time they saw it as like a great way to write off tax, because the income tax was really high. So these big rock bands were like, well, we've got a lot of money, we'll fund it into the film. Elton John also contributed to the financial of the film. And interestingly enough, Spamalot, which is obviously the musical based on the film, those investors have, along with other investors, I'll say, there's like Island Records or something, get proceedings from that as well, because they helped fund the film.
Hey,
which I just thought was pretty fun.
you know what? Spamalot, it's got some really good songs in it.
I think it's got some good tunes.
I've seen it, and it's an okay show. Like, it's good fun.
An okay show.
Nothing magic.
Yeah.
But like some of the songs, I really like really good. Like, topped it.
The other quick fact I have is that naturally, because of financing issues, they weren't sure, like, you know, what was going to happen. So actually, it was only written into the film after the fact was the horses. So obviously, at first they were like, yeah, we'll have horses and everyone will go on horses. And like, we can't afford horses. So I know what we'll do. We'll make the joke of the absolutely the coconut stuff. That came in after because they couldn't afford the horses. And to the point is the final ending. So if you've watched the film, minor spoiler obviously, is that they get to the end and there's a big battle, but the main people on the quest get arrested by modern day police because there's been a murder. So they didn't know how they were going to end the film, and they ran out of money. So they were like, fuck it, let's get all the volunteers from the local village, get them dressed up, and then we'll just get arrested, and that'll end the film. They hadn't
Such a weird ending.
It's bonkers, but they were like, we don't have an ending, and we're halfway through filming it. We ran out of money. It'll be fun. It was a fun day. So yeah, so there you go. That's my two facts. Is that it was financed by UK rock bands, and obviously they hadn't written the ending when they started filming, and they just were like, everyone gets arrested. The end. So there you go.
The end.
The end indeed. Well, that is what you get from the RP Geeks. You get heartbreak, horror, just wrenching trauma, but also fun facts. That's what we're here for. In case you haven't been aware, Fiona, Emily, and I have been the eponymous RP Geeks. A massive thank you to our wonderful guest players, Superdillin and Drak. Please go and support them in all the incredible things they do. And of course, I barely needs an introduction or outro.
Introduction, is it?
Yes, but
and now introducing
it's Edward Spence, because of course it is. Fantastic GMing. Gorgeous. We've had a wonderful time. Thank you so much to our Orbital Blues gang.
Yeah.
Getting back together
when the inevitable blues.
Oh no!
Actually, that works so well.
No.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Inevitable blues. That's what happens with this group. That's it.
Yeah. It's been a wonderful time. We hope for more wonderful times in future. And we will see you all soon. Thank you for being here. Bye.
Bye.